Hey readers! Our brains are so full of new information we've been learning. Often when we find a topic we really enjoy reading and learning about, we want to read more and more books on that same topic. For example, I want to learn about healthy habits, so I've been collecting books on that topic. I've noticed when I read that sometimes I find the same information in both books. And sometimes one book gives information that the other book doesn't. Today I want to teach you how to identify and describe the similarities and differences between two books on the same topic. Readers do this by looking closely at the illustrations and descriptions and asking ourselves, how are the photographs or descriptions similar or different? This is important to help us organize the information from both texts. To demonstrate what I want to teach you today, we'll use these familiar texts. Remember when we read Eating Right? The author gave us reasons why we should eat right to stay healthy. We call this text Book 1. We also read You Are What You Eat. The author in this book gave us ideas of food choices we can make throughout the day. We call this text Book 2. Watch me as I show you how I identify and describe the similarities and differences between these two books. I want to closely look at the illustrations on each of these pages. I can ask myself, how are the photographs or descriptions similar or different? I notice the photographs from Book 1 show examples of the types of food I can eat to stay healthy. In Book 2, the description tells me that each kind of food has something special your body needs to stay healthy. These parts of the books are similar because they tell and show me ways foods can help me stay strong and healthy. Let me show you another example. When I look closely at these two sections, I notice some differences and some similarities when I look at the illustrations. I'll remember to ask myself the question, how are the photographs or descriptions similar or different? I notice that Book 1 shows the same plate with fruits, grains, vegetables, protein with the same colors and dairy as Book 2, fruits, vegetables, grains, and protein with dairy. And I also noticed that Book 1 shows examples of fruits, grains, vegetables, and protein and dairy, but Book 2 does not. And that's how they're different. The descriptions are also different. Book 1 reminds me to choose foods from the larger part. It says, choose more foods from the larger parts. Book 2 tells me, look at this food guide. It looks like a dinner plate and a cup. They show the 5 food groups. Book 2 tells me you should try to eat foods from each of these groups every day. So I've just identified and described how these two texts are the same and how they're different. Now it's your turn. Remember, you will look closely at the photographs and the descriptions, then ask yourself, how are the photographs or descriptions similar or different? Let me reread these texts while you think about and notice the ways they are similar or different. It is okay to eat some treats, but only a little. Fruits and vegetables are better for you than cookies and candy. So that's from Book 1. And Book 2 says, it is important to make good choices when you eat. Try not to eat too many sweets. You want to save room for foods that are good for your body. So turn and tell your buddy, how are the photographs similar or different? How are the descriptions similar or different? Good job, readers. We'll continue to work on this during our reading when you read independently. You can look closely at the photographs and illustrations and the author's descriptions to notice what is similar or different. Ask yourself, how are the photographs or descriptions similar or different?